Good afternoon, Muscle Car Corner here with the Tim Wellborn collection. I've got Geoff Stunkard here. He's been instrumental with Mopar for many years. I wanted to speak to him about his career and what he has done in the industry and talk a little bit about this car that's an 8,400 mile ARR Cuda. So Geoff, pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for giving me time on this. Just wanted to go ahead and get with you on your career real briefly and what you're doing.
Car here real quick.
All right.
This is an awesome car. I shot this car. You can see here's the cover of Mopar Action Magazine. I shot this car the day Tim had it delivered.
No kidding.
And he and Ted Stevens had just taken out for a ride. Ted Stevens said, I've just driven a brand new Mopar. That's how cool this car was. This car was always garage kept. No warping on the hood because it was
I noticed that.
No fading on the interior. No fading to the original paint. This car is not restored. This is an untouched 8,400 mile 1970 AR. I think it's the best one on planet Earth. I think it's going to see a record number tomorrow or on Friday when it sells. I think what's really cool about it, we had a car a year ago that was pink, an AR. It was low mileage. It had not been on the market before, but it was not as nice as this car. We're going to find out, was pink worth a real big premium, because this is a better car. I'm not knocking that car, but
Gotcha.
There is no car better than this one on planet Earth. This is a great car.
What, do you know where you found this car?
This car came out of British Columbia. The gentleman who bought it knew was a logger. He basically made payments. He took it on a ferry to get it back to his house.
Neat.
Drove it only in the summertime. In 1977, he put it up on blocks, rigged up an exhaust system out of his garage to try to drive it, to warm it up a couple times a year. Put 40 miles on it in 2014, but other than that, the car has been parked since 1977, other than the mileage that Tim enjoyed with it, which was not many when he had it, but it's a great car.
Wow.
So
that's amazing to find an original car. You know, I looked this car over really thoroughly. The patina on the motor is amazing. You know, nothing's been painted underneath. You can tell that's all original paint, original decals on the engine. It's so rare to find a car like this that has that many miles on it, 8,400 miles.
Absolutely, and think about it. This is an AAR. This is not just a standard. Even if it was a standard, let's say 340 convertible Barracuda,
Gotcha.
It would not be as intrinsically valuable as an AAR is. I mean,
Yeah.
You think about this. All the manufacturers had small block pony cars. Only Chrysler offered one off the showroom floor with multiple carburation. You could get a cross ram for your Z28.
Sure.
But you could not get it from the factory.
Yeah, it came over the parts counter.
Carburation on a small block. This was the only pony car with multiple carburation.
I did not know that, thinking about it.
Just 1 year. They only made it for 1 year. By the end of 1970, Plymouth had realized they wanted to change up the way they were marketing. They did not go back into the SCCA, so they never did another one of these the following year.
Really?
Yeah. So in 71, there was an ad that ran in Hot Rod that people know about that showed a 1971 Challenger TA. I saw the original artwork that was sent from the magazine. It was studio modified by Chrysler that showed that 340 logo and the grille were airbrushed into a 1970 photo. They never even built a prototype.
Unbelievable.
Challenger TA. So
wow.
That's what makes this car cool.
Well, you know, I was talking earlier on a video, and I would like to see the Trans Am series get cranked back up. That was some of the neat racing back in the day.
Yeah.
It was all pony cars. And
well, you think about it, you know, NASCAR has got the Camaros and the Mustangs running now. Unfortunately, Chrysler has decided to go electric. We don't know what's going to ever happen, but I don't see a high bank Mopar anytime in the near future.
No.
I was there in '99 when they did the first test. I was up in Auburn Hills.
Really?
I was involved in all that stuff on the development of the last time they returned to NASCAR. But I think when they bailed out 10 years ago, that was it.
That was it. But it'd be neat for Mopar, as big as they are, as many people that have the Challengers, to bring back that racing again and make them look like the original cars. That would be super cool. I used to be a NASCAR fan, but the sport isn't what it used to be, and I just don't care for it anymore. But they brought something like this back. I think it'd be super cool. So tell me a little bit about your career.
Well, I began freelancing in the late 1980s. I worked for Citibank as my real job.
Really?
And I was writing on the side. I had a job where I worked 3 days a week. I worked 13-hour shifts for the bank. Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday night half the year, and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night half the year. The rest of the week I was off, and that let me go drag racing. So I'd drive to Indianapolis, or I'd drive to Gainesville, no sleep, get there, do my job, whatever I want to do drag racing wise, and then come back to work. So what happened was that I established enough of a presence in the drag racing world that when an opportunity came to work for IHRA itself in Bristol, my family and I moved to Bristol, and
Nice.
we bought a farm, and
Really?
did IHRA's drag review for 2 years. What I didn't know the month I bought the farm was 2 months later, that job would go away. It went to Ohio. So we became what we call in the South, damn Yankees. Yankees spent money and go home. Damn Yankees stayed. I stayed. I'm still in Bristol now.
Oh, cool,
So,
cool.
Yeah.
That's
since
great.
then, I edited Mopar Muscle from 1999 to 2001. I edited Mopar Enthusiast from 2009 to 2010 when it was shut down. And then I edited Mopar Action, and unfortunately, as I told you earlier, Mopar Action has now been closed down as well. That was not the problem with the magazine. The publisher shut down 32 titles in one day.
Wow.
Completely got out of print, and we just got the phone call and said, you're all out of work, and we'll send you a check for the last issue you guys have done, but we're not printing any more magazines. So it is what it is. But
That's crazy.
that's what's going on. So.
You know something? I just popped in my head. My '71 Charger RT. It's called Blue Cheer.
Okay.
You wrote the article on that car, and it's an amazing article on Mopar Muscle.
Okay.
It was in 2000.
Yeah, I probably did write it.
Yeah, Mike Bonasanti owned the car up in the Northeast.
Okay.
And you wrote the article on it, and it is the most unbelievable article I've ever written. So if you go 71 Charger RT Blue Cheer, it'll bring Geoff's
On the Hot Rod website?
yes, it'll bring it up on the website, and it shows crummy pictures of the car, but what he wrote is timeless and it's super cool, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to meet you as well. And I will get your number and send you a picture of the car, and that goes back many years.
Yes, that
you
does.
know,
Yeah.
showing our age now.
There's been a lot of cars over the years. What I've always loved about the writing side of it is the research. I love knowing the facts about the cars. Not so much every single little idiosyncrasy about, like, if a restoration has the correct spark plugs in it.
Gotcha.
But more, why did the factory do this in 1970? Or why did they change this product? Or why did they sponsor this racer? And try to get to the back end of that. Figure out what was the core reason for them doing things. I.e., why would they drop out of the Trans Am?
Yeah.
Well, there have been changes in the rules, which is why they've been able to run the 340 in the first place. Prior to 1970, you had to run a 305 or smaller inch motor to legalize the car.
That's
in
right.
70, they changed the rule. By the end of 1970, Chrysler was in trouble. All the manufacturers were moving away from the performance industry. There just was no reason to promote the small block racing program any longer.
Gotcha.
They had not made any headway into it. Penske, Donahue, and the AMCs didn't help it.
No
But
doubt.
The bottom line is in the end, you've tried to figure out the reasons why they might have changed something from a production standpoint, or why they would have modified the product.
Yeah.
So, and again, I love working for mecum. I've worked for them now for almost 10 years. I write a lot of catalog listings up, and it's a lot of fun to get the car from them and look through the fender tag, look through the paperwork, try to figure out, what makes this car special compared to the 3 other cars like this we might be selling, and it's always a big challenge.
Gotcha.
Just, to make the story, to tell you why you'd want this car as opposed to the other ones.
No doubt.
There's always something. There's always,
Yeah.
So this car, well, it's the best on the planet. There's not much more I can say.
Unreal.
There's
Unreal.
other AR here. There's a black on black on black AR here.
Oh, I love that one.
I mean, there's a number of AR here that are just as good as this car in terms of owning an AR in general. You might not want to have the best on the planet. I can tell you right now, based on what Tim has told me, this car has got a lot of interest. So that pink car I talked about earlier went for $308,000.
Holy
Will
cow.
this car top that? We'll find out if pink was worth a premium. I think this is a better car. In my opinion, this car could certainly go over that number. I don't think it'll hit 500,000, but I could see it hitting 400 if the right couple of people decide they have to own it. Because I have a feeling, just like the original owner had this car for 40 years,
Wow.
once this car gets taken from this auction, it will not come back on the market anytime again. It's that good.
Somebody's going to put it in their collection, and it's going to be well preserved and just kept as one of the neatest Mopar pieces that's got 8,400 miles, a 1970 vehicle with 8,400 miles.
Right. And again, like I said, that so many of these cars, if they were left outside, the high impact paint fades, the hoods wore. You know, I mean, there's just things that happen to these cars simply from their construction. The fact this car was always garage kept, never driven in bad weather, and then was maintained even after the owner parked it. He actually had it up on blocks and would start it to keep it basically limited.
Gotcha.
I mean, it just makes it an amazing car. And like I said, the sky's the limit at this point.
Unbelievable. Well, I tell you what, this is a neat piece, and I hope you all enjoy this interview. Geoff, I'd like to get with mecum. My first car was a 69 Roadrunner convertible in 76 I bought for $2,600.
Okay.
I've been a Mopar guy ever since. I eat, breathe, and sleep. I'd like to do what you're doing and see if mecum's interested in me one day, because I tell you what, I've got what it takes to do it.
Well,
So,
I think for me, it's been the fact I'd walk into the production booth, they didn't know who I was until I started talking. So I've got a voice made for radio.
you do. You say you always, it's because of the top fuel cars you were shooting.
Yeah,
you
right.
don't have much hearing left,
Yeah, no,
you know.
I have to say that, you know, there is a price to pay for spending a lot of time around nitro.
Oh, heck yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So, I had a great career, and like I said, normally when something like this Mopar accident thing would happen, I'd go back to freelancing full time again. There's nobody to freelance for anymore, but again, I'm thankful to have the things I do for mecum, the catalog work I do for them, and the little bit of TV I do for them, for the simple reason that, for me personally, it lets me stay involved with the cars, and I still have a job.
Heck yeah. You got to have that these days. You got Mopars?
Well, I got the two modern cars. I got my son. We had a '71 Dart that we did with Mopar enthusiasts. My son's a professional fly fishing guy.
Nice.
And the car had sat for about 10 years, and we did finally sell it about a year and a half ago, and only because we just didn't have time to work.
Gotcha.
So I love history. I don't necessarily need to have my hands dirty. It's kind of like taking pictures. I don't need to do something stupid. I want to get a picture of you doing something stupid.
I got you there. Well, my Mopar brother,
All right,
I
man.
really appreciate it. And I will put this in my YouTube channel.
Okay.
And we're going to
These
keep...
cars are going over the block on
Friday.
Midday. And Tim will be there with them. And this is just, I mean, he's got 6 cars here. You could do a story on each one. But this, in my opinion, is, like I said, the best on the planet.
Yeah.
It will be very interesting to see where this car lands when it's over.
Well, tomorrow I'm going to get an interview with Tim as well, and he's going to personally go over these cars with me. So look forward to that. And sure appreciate your time, brother.
All right, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, brother. Take care.